What is ADHD? It's a question I've heard thousands of times, honestly. Many people think they know the answer. They picture a young boy who just can't sit still in class. He bounces his leg, looks out the window and interrupts the teacher. Now, this picture isn't wrong, but it's incomplete. It's a bit like describing a vast ocean by showing just a single wave. ADHD is so much more than that. It's a complex way of being that affects children and adults, men and women, from all walks of life. It can look like the brilliant entrepreneur who launches 3 companies before turning 30, or the artist who creates masterpieces from a storm of chaotic ideas. It can also look like the parent who forgets to pick up their child from school, even though they love them dearly. ADHD is really a condition of contrasts, a mix of great strengths and significant challenges. Imagine having a race car engine for a brain. It's powerful, fast, and capable of amazing things, but it has bicycle brakes. You have this incredible potential for speed and performance, yet you struggle to slow down, to stop, or to steer with precision. This is what it can feel like to have ADHD. Your mind is always running, flooded with ideas, observations, and emotions. This can be a wonderful source of energy and creativity. It allows you to see connections that others might miss and to approach problems from new and exciting angles. But without reliable brakes, the powerful engine can also lead you to crash. You might miss important details, make impulsive decisions, or struggle to complete tasks that seem simple to others. The struggles are real and can be deeply frustrating. People with ADHD often feel misunderstood. They're told they're lazy, undisciplined, or just not trying hard enough. These words hurt because honestly, they're often trying harder than anyone else. Imagine the effort it takes to read a single page of a book when your mind keeps darting off in a dozen different directions. Think about the shame you might feel when you forget a friend's birthday or miss an important deadline at work again. These are not moral failings. They're symptoms of a brain that's wired differently. Understanding this is really the first step toward managing the challenges and unlocking the incredible potential that lies within. So when we talk about ADHD, let's look beyond the simple stereotypes. Let's see the whole person. We must acknowledge the difficulties with focus, organization, and impulse control. These are real and need support. But we must also celebrate the amazing strengths that often come with this unique wiring. We must see the creativity, the passion, the resilience, and the out-of-the-box thinking. ADHD isn't a deficit of attention, but really an abundance of it. The challenge is learning how to direct that attention. It's about learning to drive that powerful race car brain so you can win the races that matter most to you in life. The experience of having ADHD is, well, full of contradictions. It's a paradox. You can be both brilliant and scattered, often at the very same time. A person with ADHD might be able to solve a complex scientific problem that has stumped their colleagues for weeks. They can hyper-focus on the puzzle, losing track of time, food, and sleep until they find the solution. This intense concentration is honestly a superpower. Yet that same brilliant scientist might get lost driving to the grocery store they've been to 100 times. They might forget to pay their electricity bill, not because they lack the money, but because the task simply slipped from their hyper-focused mind. This is the paradox, a mind that can be a laser beam one moment and a disco ball the next. Consider a child in school. The teacher might see a student who daydreams during math class and struggles to follow instructions. The report card might say, does not live up to potential. But at home, that same child might spend hours building intricate Lego cities with incredible detail and imagination. They might be able to tell you every fact about dinosaurs or outer space. They're not unintelligent or lazy. Their brain is simply not engaged by the way the math lesson is taught. Their interest-based nervous system needs to be captivated. When it is, their ability to learn and create is honestly limitless. The problem isn't the child's brain, but often the mismatch between their brain and the demands of a structured, one-size-fits-all environment. This paradox continues into adulthood and professional life. Think of a talented chef with ADHD. In the kitchen, during the dinner rush, they're in their element. The fast pace, the need for quick decisions, and the ability to juggle multiple tasks at once are a perfect match for their brain. They thrive in the controlled chaos, creating delicious and inventive dishes. But when it comes to the administrative side of the restaurant, ordering supplies, managing schedules, doing paperwork, they may fall apart. These routine, detail-oriented tasks can feel painfully boring and overwhelming. The same brain that excels in a high-energy environment can feel paralyzed by mundane but necessary chores. This is not a failure of character, it's a feature of their neurological makeup. Understanding this dual nature is key to helping people with ADHD succeed. It's not about fixing them, it's about creating environments where their strengths can shine. It means providing support for their weaknesses. For the scientist, it could be a simple system of reminders for bills. For the child, it could be a teacher who uses their interest in dinosaurs to teach math. For the chef, it could be hiring an assistant to handle the paperwork. When we stop seeing ADHD as only a disadvantage and start recognizing its hidden advantages, we can help people resolve the paradox. We help them build a life where their talents, not their troubles, define them. Where do new ideas come from? They often come from minds that honestly just don't follow the rules. They come from brains that connect things in unusual ways. This is the world of the ADHD mind, a natural home for creativity. The constant stream of thoughts, which can be distracting in a quiet library, becomes a fountain of inspiration in an artist's studio or an inventor's workshop. The ADHD brain is a master of divergent thinking. It doesn't travel down a single logical path. Instead, it branches out in many directions at once, exploring all kinds of possibilities. This is why so many entrepreneurs, artists, writers, and designers have ADHD. Their minds are built to innovate. Let's look at an example. Imagine a marketing team brainstorming ideas for a new product. Most of the team might suggest safe, predictable ideas based on what has worked in the past. But the team member with ADHD might suddenly blurt out something that seems completely unrelated. They might connect the new product to a movie they saw last week or a random fact they read online. At first, the idea might sound strange or even silly, but as they explain the connection, a new and exciting possibility emerges. This ability to make surprising leaps of logic is a hallmark of ADHD-driven creativity. It's the spark that can ignite a breakthrough campaign. This creativity isn't limited to the arts or business, it's a way of solving everyday problems. A parent with ADHD might be fantastic at inventing bedtime stories or turning a boring chore into a fun game. A mechanic with ADHD might figure out a clever, unconventional way to fix a car engine when the standard methods fail. Their brains aren't stuck in a rut. They're always looking for a new angle, a different approach. This can make them excellent troubleshooters and problem solvers, especially in situations that require fresh thinking. They're not afraid to try something new because their brain is constantly suggesting new things to try anyway. However, this creative energy needs to be managed. An endless flood of ideas can be overwhelming if you can't capture them or choose which ones to pursue. The challenge for the creative person with ADHD is to build a structure to support their art. This might mean using notebooks, voice memos, or whiteboards to jot down ideas before they disappear. It might mean collaborating with a more organized partner who can handle the details, freeing them up to focus on the big picture. By creating a container for their creativity, they can turn their wonderful, chaotic storm of ideas into something real and meaningful. The world is honestly a richer place because of the creative sparks that fly from the ADHD mind. Impulsivity is one of the most well-known traits of ADHD. It's the tendency to act on a whim without fully thinking through the consequences. This can certainly lead to trouble. An impulsive comment can hurt a friend's feelings. An impulsive purchase can strain a budget. A child might dart into the street without looking, or an adult might quit a stable job without having another one lined up. These actions aren't driven by malice or poor judgment. They happen because the ADHD brain's pause button is less effective. The time between an idea and an action is incredibly short. This can create significant challenges in life, leading to regret and difficult situations that need to be cleaned up. But this same trait, when viewed from another angle, can be a powerful asset. Impulsivity is closely linked to spontaneity and courage. The person who impulsively buys a plane ticket to a new country might have the adventure of a lifetime. The entrepreneur who impulsively starts a business based on a gut feeling might create the next big thing. In many situations, overthinking can lead to paralysis. People can get so caught up in analyzing risks that they never take action. The person with ADHD, on the other hand, is more likely to just jump in. This willingness to take risks is essential for innovation and discovery. Columbus was a risk-taker, so were the Wright brothers. Great achievements often require a leap of faith. Think of a firefighter or an emergency room doctor. In their line of work, there's no time for long deliberation. They must make split-second decisions under immense pressure. The ADHD brain, with its ability to act quickly and decisively, can be a huge advantage in these high-stakes environments. The same impulsivity that might cause them to interrupt a conversation can help them save a life. Their brain is wired for action. When that action is channeled into a positive and productive outlet, it becomes a remarkable strength. The key is finding the right context where this trait is not a liability but a gift. The challenge, of course, is to find a balance. It's about learning to manage the negative side of impulsivity while embracing the positive side of risk-taking. This can be learned. Strategies like the 10-second pause before speaking or making a decision can be very helpful. Having a trusted friend or partner to talk through big choices with can provide a valuable external break. By understanding that this trait is a double-edged sword, people with ADHD can learn how to wield it carefully. They can learn to avoid the self-inflicted wounds while using their courage and spontaneity to carve out an exciting and successful life path. People with ADHD often feel things very deeply. Their emotional world is as busy and intense as their mental world. This is sometimes called emotional dysregulation, which sounds like a very clinical and negative term. But what it really means is that their feelings can be powerful and can change quickly. A small frustration can feel like a major catastrophe. A happy moment can bring overwhelming joy. This emotional intensity can be challenging to manage, both for the person with ADHD and for those around them. They might be accused of overreacting or being too dramatic. In reality, they are simply experiencing their emotions at a higher volume. This heightened sensitivity, however, is also the source of incredible empathy and generosity. Because they feel their own emotions so strongly, people with ADHD often have a remarkable ability to sense the feelings of others. They can walk into a room and immediately pick up on the emotional atmosphere. They notice when someone is sad, even if that person is trying to hide it. This makes them wonderfully compassionate friends, partners, and parents. They are the ones who will sit with you when you are hurting, not just with words of comfort, but with a genuine understanding of your pain. They feel it with you. This deep well of feeling often translates into acts of great generosity. A person with ADHD might give their last $20 to a person in need without a second thought. They might spend hours helping a friend move even when they have a mountain of their own work to do. Their generosity is often impulsive, stemming directly from that empathetic connection. They see a need, they feel the urge to help, and they act on it. This can sometimes get them into trouble as they may overcommit their time or resources, but it comes from a place of pure, heartfelt kindness. Their hearts are worn on their sleeves, open and available to the world. It is important for people with ADHD and for those who love them to understand this trait. The sensitivity is not a weakness. It is a source of human connection. The challenge is to learn how to protect that sensitive heart. It means setting boundaries to avoid being taken advantage of. It means practicing self-compassion and not judging themselves for their big feelings. It also means that friends and family should try to be gentle with their words. A harsh criticism that might roll off someone else's back can feel like a dagger to a person with ADHD. By appreciating their sensitivity as a gift, we can help them share their incredible capacity for love and generosity without getting hurt in the process. Section 6. More than a label. Seeing ADHD as a way of being. For too long we have talked about ADHD using the language of disease and disorder. We use words like deficit, hyperactivity, and disorder. These labels come from a medical model that focuses only on what is wrong. It looks at a set of symptoms and sees a problem to be fixed. While this model can be helpful for getting a diagnosis and finding treatment, it tells a very incomplete story. It misses the human experience behind the label. It fails to capture the unique strengths, talents, and personality traits that are woven into the fabric of ADHD. It is not just a collection of problems, it is a different way of seeing and being in the world. Think about it this way. Is being left-handed a disorder? In the past, many people thought so. Left-handed children were forced to write with their right hands. They were seen as awkward or defiant. Today, we understand that being left-handed is simply a natural variation. It is not better or worse than being right-handed, just different. We should start to think about ADHD in the same way. The ADHD brain is not broken. It is wired differently. It has a different operating system. This operating system has its own set of strengths and its own set of challenges, just like any other operating system. When we see ADHD as a way of being, we shift our focus from fixing a person to supporting them. The goal is not to turn a person with ADHD into someone they are not. The goal is to help them become the best possible version of themselves. This means helping them understand their own unique brain. It means giving them tools and strategies to manage the parts of ADHD that get in their way, like disorganization or forgetfulness. But it also means helping them identify and nurture their talents, like their creativity, their energy, and their ability to think outside the box. It is a much more positive and empowering approach. This shift in perspective is crucial for self-esteem. Many people with ADHD grow up feeling like there is something fundamentally wrong with them. They internalize years of criticism for being too much, too messy, or too loud. When they finally understand that they simply have a different kind of brain, it can be a life-changing revelation. It allows them to let go of the shame and start embracing who they are. They can stop fighting against their own nature and start working with it. Seeing ADHD as a way of being is not about making excuses. It is about finding a true and honest explanation that opens the door to self-acceptance and growth. Section 7. The Modern Maze. Are we all a little ADHD now? Our modern world looks a lot like the inside of an ADHD brain. It is fast-paced, full of distractions, and demands that we juggle many things at once. We are constantly bombarded with information. Our phones buzz with notifications, our computers have a dozen tabs open. We scroll through endless feeds of news, updates, and advertisements. This constant stimulation and pressure to multitask can create a state of mind that mirrors the symptoms of ADHD. I call this condition VAST, which stands for Variable Attention Stimulus Trait. It is a response to the overwhelming demands of contemporary life. Many people who do not have the neurobiological condition of ADHD now experience similar challenges. They find it hard to concentrate on one thing for a long period. They feel scattered, overwhelmed, and forgetful. They jump from task to task, never feeling like they are making real progress on any of them. Does this mean that everyone has ADHD? No. True ADHD is a lifelong neurological condition that is present from birth. VAST, on the other hand, is a condition created by our environment. But the experience can feel very similar, and the strategies for managing it are often the same. This modern phenomenon can actually help us understand ADHD better. It creates a bridge of empathy. When someone without ADHD experiences the frustration of being constantly distracted, they can get a small taste of what it is like to live with an ADHD brain every single day. They can begin to appreciate how much effort it takes to focus and stay on track when your brain is naturally wired for distraction. This shared experience can reduce stigma and promote greater understanding. It helps us see that the challenges of attention are not a moral failing, but a consequence of the brain's interaction with its environment. The rise of VAST also teaches us an important lesson. It shows us that the environment matters tremendously. If our culture is creating ADHD-like symptoms in the general population, imagine how much harder it must be for those who are already neurobiologically predisposed to these challenges. This should motivate us to create better environments for everyone. This could mean designing workplaces that allow for deep, focused work. It could mean schools that offer more hands-on, engaging learning experiences. And it could mean all of us learning to be more mindful about our use of technology, protecting our attention as the valuable resource it is. By taming the chaos of modern life, we can help all brains function at their best. Section 8. Harnessing the hurricane, turning traits into triumphs. Knowing you have an ADHD-style brain is one thing. Learning how to manage it is another. The key to success is not to eliminate the traits of ADHD, but to learn how to harness their power. It is like learning to sail a powerful boat in a strong wind. You don't try to stop the wind, you learn how to adjust your sails to use the wind to get where you want to go. This means being honest about the challenges while actively looking for and developing the strengths. This dual approach is the foundation of a happy and successful life with ADHD. First, you must address the challenges. This is about building the bicycle brakes for your race car brain. It involves creating structures and systems that support your weaknesses. If you are disorganized, you might need to become an expert in using calendars, to-do lists, and reminders. If you are forgetful, you can create routines and habits, like always putting your keys in the same bowl by the door. Medication can also be an incredibly helpful tool for many, providing the neurological support needed to improve focus and reduce impulsivity. These are not signs of weakness, they are smart, practical tools for managing a specific neurological challenge. At the same time, you must actively cultivate your strengths. This is the fun part. What are you passionate about? What activities make you feel alive and engaged? When do you enter that state of hyperfocus? These are clues to your hidden talents. If you're creative, make time for art, music, or writing. If you have high energy, find a job or a hobby that is active and fast-paced. If you are a great problem solver, seek out challenges that allow you to use your out-of-the-box thinking. The goal is to build your life around what you do well. This is what I call finding your right difficult. Find a challenge that engages your interest and plays to your strengths. This process of harnessing your traits is a journey, not a destination. It requires self-awareness, patience, and a willingness to experiment. You will have good days and bad days. Some strategies will work for a while and then stop working, and you will need to find new ones. The most important thing is to maintain a positive, strength-based perspective. Instead of saying, "I'm so scattered," you can say, "My mind makes a lot of interesting connections." Instead of saying, "I'm too impulsive," you can say, "I'm courageous and willing to take risks." This change in language is not just semantics, it changes how you see yourself and what you believe you're capable of achieving. Section 9. A world built for all brains embracing neurodiversity. Our world is wonderfully diverse. We have people of all different cultures, backgrounds, and abilities. It is time we fully embrace another form of diversity, neurodiversity. This is the idea that differences in brain function are a natural and valuable part of the human spectrum. Conditions like ADHD, dyslexia, and autism are not errors in the human code. They are different ways of thinking, processing, and experiencing the world. A society that recognizes and celebrates neurodiversity is a stronger, smarter, and more interesting society for everyone. It is a world built for all kinds of brains. To build this world, we need to start in our schools. Our education system is often designed for one type of learner, the one who can sit still, listen quietly, and follow linear instructions. This system fails too many children whose brains are wired differently. A neurodiverse classroom would offer multiple ways to learn. It would include hands-on projects, visual aids, physical movement, and opportunities for students to follow their own interests. It would assess students not just on standardized tests, but on their creativity, their problem-solving skills, and their unique talents. It would be a place where every child feels seen, understood, and capable of success. This acceptance must extend into the workplace. Businesses can benefit enormously from the talents of their neurodiverse employees. The creativity of an ADHD mind can lead to innovation. The focus of an autistic mind can lead to incredible attention to detail. To unlock this potential, companies need to be more flexible. This might mean allowing for different work schedules, providing quiet workspaces, or giving instructions in multiple formats. It means judging employees on the quality of their results, not on whether they fit a conventional mold of what a good employee looks like. When companies embrace neurodiversity, they gain a powerful competitive advantage. Ultimately, creating a world that is friendly to ADHD is about creating a world that is more human for everyone. The things that help people with ADHD, clear communication, flexibility, understanding, and a focus on strengths, are things that benefit us all. When we learn to be more patient with a friend who is forgetful, we become more patient people. When we create a classroom that engages a restless child, we create a more engaging classroom for all children. By opening our minds and hearts to the full spectrum of human thinking, we not only support those with ADHD, but we also enrich our own lives and build a kinder, more intelligent, and more creative world.